surprised you didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you made us wait for this long. We had to eat something else in the meantime.
When I make it?
Muncie, with the matchmaker.
No, I was
Okay.
in Muncie before. No, because it was cooking.
Fine.
I left
It was
it on the
cooking
fire.
in the car?
I came back to my car and picked it up.
I got the...
He didn't let me pick it up because if I pick it up, I'm going to ruin the song.
Anyway.
Reputation will be on the line, right?
Exactly. Gotta sell this
Taste it
thing.
and make sure it's done.
Okay. Clever. The very fact that we're here eating, this is achana from Mechia Samolik. I will explain. It's a medrash on Pashas Zachor. But midei dabribo. Years ago, I heard about a certain Rebbe that he says, "Hayi Mekai Mechia Samolik bizmanenu." You have to have 4 types of kugel, right? Apple, mel, lokshen, and kartoffel, right? Rosh Tevis Amolik. Apple kugel, a wheat kugel, a noodle kugel, and a potato kugel. Apple, mel, lokshen kugel, Rosh Tevis Amolik, and that Rebbe is Noah Doresh v'Noah Mekayim, and from the 4 kugels, Lo Nishar Zecher, right? L'maaseh, it happens to be true in the sense that it's a apple, mel, lokshen, and kartoffel,
Mel is...
like millet, lokshen and kartoffel.
So the only one I don't know is what a mel kugel is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the maaseh like this. So ever I thought it was just when I heard this word, I was over about maybe almost 20 years ago. I was a young man, and I thought it was just Purim Torah. But upon deeper contemplation, right, it's yesh dvarim b'zeh, yesh dvarim b'gav. I was finding a few places that eating is called to destroy. Like Chazal point out, "Vayikach ha'ma'acheles lishchot et beno." This knife that Rabbeinu took to shechet is called a ma'acheles. And so Chazal explained, Farshim explained that it's because the cherv is ochel basar, consumes the flesh, so it's called a ma'acheles. Right? Cherev tochlu, you'll be consumed by the sword. And there's a sheet of the Hagos Maimonides that you could be mekayim the mitzvah of biur chametz by eating it. I mean, of course, talk about eat it before Zmani Suro. You don't want to be somecham bittul. Eat it before it becomes asur, and you mekayim the mitzvah save biur chametz. But it has to do with Amalek that in one of the meforshim.
Why should you be even a shadow on that? It's your whole you don't not like Rabbeinu, you don't need beer.
Yeah, so say eat it.
So
Eat it. Eating is biur chametz.
You just have to get rid of it.
Eating is biur chametz.
It's also good.
Right. So if you eat it, that's what's called to destroy. L'maaseh, the Rabbeinu Avram ben Arambam in the Sefer Muhammad Hashem writes that his shita, defending his father's shita, that the Sudas Halavyasan is a moshel, and it's not kipshuta. Defending the shita of his father, the Rambam. That Olam Haba is called the Suda, the only derech moshel, which the Ravid had a problem, an issue with. Right. So he says, the Livyasan represents the Yetzer Hara, and Sudas Halavyasan means Rambam is one of who shochet the Yetzer Hara, because to eat something is to consider is to destroy it. Now, L'maaseh, this all goes full circle back to Amalek, right? What was we're going to read in the Haftarah on Shabbos Zachor, right? About Shaul's mistake that the tikkun was through Mordechai and Esther, or his descendants. He made a mistake, right? He spared Agag, from which came Haman HaAgagi, right? But he also spared, the Meitav Hatzon, the good sheep. He didn't kill out everything that was supposed to be killed. From the livestock. And then when Shmuel confronts him, so Shaul looks him right in the face and says, right? But Shaul first said, Baruch haba Hashem, hakimaisi is dvar Hashem. Yeah. What? Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, but he, and Shmuel says he killed a sheep, but he looked at Shmuel right in the eye and said, hakimaisi is dvar Hashem.
Yes.
How do you have the guts to say that? So the Sefer Siach Yitzchak that's printed together with the Siddur Agra says he had a simple cheshbon. He had a lomdish cheshbon. That's it. We're going to eat it. And they said, we're going to eat it, we're going to be makriv carbon. He said it's small. That was the cheshbon. Right? If it gets consumed, that's also called the destroyer. Right? Right. So and it's going to come up again in just a few minutes. But I'll show us cheshbon, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't wanted happened to have been. He didn't want that lomdish cheshbon, which would hold weight in halacha. He wanted killed kipshutai. And the kayadua, that's the tikkun. Uba biza lo sholchu es yadam. In the days of Mordechai and Esther, they didn't touch any of the spoils, even though there was a lot of spoils left over from the 75,000 people that they killed. Uba biza lo sholchu yadam, which I believe is that's the biggest raya that it's one of the big rayas that Esther was Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. How could they know that? From throughout Hodu Vakush Uba biza lo sholchu yadam. It's one of the rayas, Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. But the Anam B'didan, before we get to the point that, we're going to get back to this in just a minute or two, I just want to pose a few questions. Right? Muhammad Hashem Ba'amalek Midor Dor. We have a constant tzivui, it's going to be a Muhammad Amalek in every generation. So my question is like this. In the first Muhammad Amalek, it was fought on two levels. Yoshua with the sword, but Moshe with the hands up. Kashiarm, the Gavar Yisrael, Kashiyard, the Gavar Amalek, and they needed that Bismanchi Yisrael, Stakim Galam, Shtatim Lilam, Lavim, Shabbat Shemaim, like it says in Mission Rosh Hashanah, remind them about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They needed that. So in the ensuing war with Amalek that happens again in days of Shaul, and happens again in Mordechai and Esther's days, where's Moshe Rabbeinu? Where is he? Where's the one playing that role with the hands up? We have the people that do it with the sword. We have the continuation of Yoshua with the sword. Where's the continuation? Where's the
No, this was already a change. That was because Baruch Hu was still revealing himself. Now it's more the you don't do all these things.
No, I don't know. It makes the kash even bigger.
You pray, but you don't do.
No, that's Moshe Rabbeinu to remind them of that's all bashgacha pratis, and it's not the koach of your hands comes from above. Like, who's playing that role? Mm-hmm. Who's playing that role ever since the first war of Amalek? We see the hemshech of the Yoshua aspect. Where's the hemshech of the Moshe Rabbeinu aspect? Which is interesting. The whole sugya, the famous sugya, the Agadata in Chulin, opens up Moshe min Torah minayin. Right, B'shagamu Basar. Then Hama min Torah minayin, and then Esther min Torah minayin, Mordechai min Torah minayin. Right. The thing is, Moshe Rabbeinu is that's how it all starts. Ask where's the reference for Moshe Rabbeinu before he was born, and Agav that so Hama min Torah minayin, and then Esther min Torah minayin. Then Moshe Rabbeinu still has to be involved, even in the days of Mordechai and Esther, because it starts with Moshe minayin. So instead, he was involved by the first war of Amalek. Where's his continuation? In what way is Moshe Rabbeinu extending past that generation to be with us in the Muhammad Hashem Ba'amalek Midor Dor? So really, this kasha is answered by another kasha, right? And that is, what this minhag that we have, it's Mechias Amalek, the din of Schiras Maisa Amalek is not a mitzvah shazman groma. Women are chayiv. The chinuch has a chiddush that they're potter for a different reason, because it's not darka shel isha lasos milchama, but it can't be. We're not somech on the chinuch, and the women go here Zachor. No, it's not mitzvah shazman groma. Chinuch is made. It's not mitzvah shazman groma. Adra, chinuch himself says it's enough to do it once in your lifetime, as long as you don't forget, right? So women are potter for a different reason, because it ain't darka shel isha lasos milchama, because the only one who would do timcha. Only someone who would do timcha is chayiv in Zachor also. Wouldn't do timcha, right? So the thing is like this: you could do it any day of the year, right? All right. So we want to make it near Purim because Chag of Mechias Amalek. So why don't we do it on Purim? Instead of laning Vayavu Amalek, let's lane Zachor es Asher Asach Amalek, and then finish off with the Megillah like we do. It would be more apropos. Let's do it, Like let's do it if we want to make because Purim is B'chias Hamok. Do it on Purim. You know what? Do it on Tanis Esther. Also apropos because that was the Milchama, right? Milchama was on Tanis Esther, and then V'noach Bar Basar. So either do it on Purim himself, do it on on Tanis Esther. Why the Shabbos before? Why is that? That's already an ancient minhag, do it the Shabbos before. Right? So they give a remez on this. The Poskim say it's merumas hayom nizkarim v'nasim v'chol shana shana nizchira before asiyah. So you need to become Zachor before the asiyah, which is Purim, when we actually do the mitzvah sachat, which are I guess connected the day after connected mechias hamok b'kitzur. So you have to have the zechira before the asiyah. Fine. So erev. Why Shabbos? Why Shabbos? So the Lama said this issue is directly addressed in a Medrash Tanchuma on Parshas Kiseitze, on the Pesach of Zachor Sion Shas Lakacho, right? And the Medrash brings, that the Pesukim in Koheles. Koheles sometimes says hope, sometimes despair, hope, despair. It's one of the most problematic books that Chazor bevakesh to be going to Sefer Koheles until they found ways al derech hadrush to miyashiv the steers between saying everything is futile. Right, because Sofa Yor Shemaim, and then agav that they gave the inspiration to al pi drush to be miyashiv all the steers. So I'm paraphrasing because I don't have books in front of me right now and the hour is late. So there's a pasuk that goes Zichron Echal Chacham Uksil. Right, seemingly, the guy who's wise, they're remembered equally, but then Koheles, as his derech says later, no, roughly is the lashon. No, it's not true. They're not remembered together. First, you say they are remembered. They say they're not remembered. What's the pasuk referred to? Who's the chacham? Who's the ksil? And what's the havamina? They're remembered equally. And what's the maskana? Right, that they're not remembered equally. Right, that's what the Medrash Tanchuma is with. So says Medrash Tanchuma, the Havamina, that they're equal, there's Zikaron Echad, they're equally remembered is Shabbos and Amalek. Because it says Zachor es Yom Shabbos lekatshoi, and also says Zachor es asher asa Amalek. They got equal treatment. Both were Mitzuvin Zachor. Remember Shabbos, remember Amalek. And Zikaron Echad. Right? So then the Medrash says, so what's the answer, Taka? So the Medrash says like this. Mashal for a melch who made a Suda. Again, Suda. It is also why he didn't have a big Kiddush on Shabbos Zachor, because connected the mitzvah of Zachor, Yom Shabbos Lakacho. Right? Melch made a big Suda. And the table is Mole Kol Tuv. Like the table we had before us tonight. Right? The table is Mole Kol Tuv. Right? And so before everyone digs in, so the king says, 1 minute. Zachor Ploni Ohavi. Right? So remember the man, that I love. Right? Okay. Everyone digs in. And then from all the food on the table, Lo Nishar Zecher. Right? Right? Like we said before, Lo Nishar Zecher. Not a crumb is left. All right, it's time for benching. All right, the king says, wait a minute. Zachor Ploni Soni. I want to second to remember that guy who I hate. So ask him, you gave him equal treatment. Right? The guy you love and the guy you hate, you gave equal. Took out a minute to remember both of them. Says no. Ze hiskarti al shulchan mole. Ze hiskarti al shulchan reika. This guy I took out a minute, remembered on a table that was laden with all good. And this one I took out a minute to remember him on a table that's empty. Empty. On a shulchan reik. So also when Yidden says the Medrash goes on to say when Yidden are Makayim the mitzvah say of Zachor Yom Shabbos Lekacho, it's on a Shulchan Mole Kol Tuv, full of Einik Shabbos, and out of it this is one of the many Makaris. It's also Meforsh in the Zohar, right? That you should have food on the table when you make Kiddush on Shabbos. It shouldn't be on an empty table. It should be food. Minimally the chalas, but it's the hidur to have the first course or the salatim, whatever they. No, you should not. It should be on shulchan mole because bracha is chal on.
In the morning, but at night, on Friday night, the minhag is not to have the food on the table.
Really? I don't see that.
So. Pretty sure.
I know Moroccans have it.
Yeah, full.
Have it on
Full.
the table,
All
table
this,
set
yeah.
already?
All
All the salads, the fish,
the whole first course,
whole
right?
first course, yeah.
At Friday night too?
Friday night, yeah.
No, that's the pashtus of this Medrash Tanchuma, and also in the Zohar, because bracha is not shayre on emptiness.
I always thought it was just because you want to add color and everything.
They no, because bracha.
No, because it saves you time. So
No, they want to make you hungry.
Okay, well, bracha is shayre on on something that's full, not on something that's empty. So Shabbos, Zachor, Yashal Kadshay, we're Mekayim that mitzvah, and the Shulchan Malei Kol Tov, right? And whereas the mitzvah of Zachor says Sherasocha Amalek is in the context of how's the parsha Timchez Zecher Amot Mitach Shemaim, emptiness. Remember him, but remember him in the context of empty. Make him nothing.
that's
Right. Right. So davar nifla ma'od, davar nifla ma'od. The Shabbos and Amalek are both about remembering, i.e., getting in touch with something. Zachor is not just a piece of information flashing across your consciousness. It's really to get in touch. Ve'okim is vayiskar is brisai. Well, if God forgets, no, it's to get in touch. Ki midei dabri bo zachar es karenu od. Right? It's a Zachor is not just about recall. It's about getting in touch. You could be aware of that information, but being in touch with it, that's Zachor, right? And so on Shabbos, it's all about getting in touch. Hakadosh Baruch Hu's Borei Shamayim v'Aretz, and seeing the world for what it is. And that's why it's be mole. You have to see reality for what it is. So don't have an empty table. Have a full table, keneged olam u'meloyo, like the whole world, and get in touch. That all comes from God. Everything is an expression of Ritzonai. Everything is an expression of Gilui Elokos. Getting in touch with reality, and getting in touch with reality, putting reality in touch with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amalek is the same thing, but in reverse. Right? Amalek Kayadua represents the Yetzer Hara. The only way to defeat the Yetzer Hara is see him for who he really is. Don't lose sight of who he is. Get in touch with it that he's nothing. He's selling you lies. Obama, right? He's just selling you lies, right? Yeah, so that's you have to be Zachor, get in touch with who he really is, but in context of Timcha, Zecher Amok, it shouldn't even be remembered. There should be nothing left of him. He's empty. He's be'etzem empty. Zachor, you have to see him for the emptiness that he is, the sheker that he is. Right? He doesn't really exist. He's selling a pack of lies, and that's the way anti-Semitism was. Door. It was always just a pack of lies that people bought into. And Kan Mokum La'arich, but Amalek has been like a virus that has gone from Ummah to Ummah, inciting that Ummah against Am Yisrael, just with base lies that didn't exist. Lo Hayav, Lo Nivra, blood libels, and that's the sort of racist Goyim Amalek. He could take over the head of any nation. Like Haman just took over the head of Achashverosh.
Germany.
In Germany, just one guy who said lies, delusional person just said shkarim va'avolim. They call it the big lie. He wouldn't say if it wasn't true. And it took over the mind of a whole nation. That's what's called Zecher Amalek, that they're a concept. You have to see that concept for the emptiness that it is. Right? And that was the function of Yidei Moshe. Mistaklim klape mala u'mishabdim mislibam lavim shebashamayim, that we have to, as we were working with the sword, we shouldn't think that hishtadlus is emes. Hishtadlus works because Hashem wants it to work. You have to remember the source. What Moshe Rabbeinu's hands do, that's what Shabbos does for us. And the hemshech of Moshe Rabbeinu in the Milchama L'Hashem Amod Mador is Shabbos. And that's why Pashas Zachor is on the Shabbos before. And the Remez, the Paul says, Hayom Niskorim V'Nasim, on the day of Zechira. Right, what helps us see Amalek for the emptiness that he is, in order to see the Ra for the emptiness that is, you have to see by contrast the Tov for the reality that it is. And that's why you have to put the mitzvah of Zechira Samot, to see him for what it is, together with the mitzvah of Zechira of Shabbos, to see reality for what it is, and that way you have the contrast to see he's not reality, which was the function of Yidei Moshe. Right? So the Shabbos is what is Mamshech, the Koach of Moshe Rabbeinu, to us, in the Milchama Hashem Ba'amalek Midor Dor, and that we get the power that Moshe Rabbeinu gave us with the hands up. We get that power from the Shabbos, and that's the side Yismach Moshe Matnas Chelko. That Moshe Rabbeinu, is his, on that, it's Meramis too that Moshe Rabbeinu gives us back the Ksarim of Nasev and Nishma on Shabbos. Moshe Rabbeinu he's happy with his own. When we lost the Ksarim of Nasev and Nishma, Moshe Rabbeinu took them all. But Yismach Moshe Matnas Chelkoi, right? On Shabbos he's happy just with his own private Keser Nasev Keser Nishma, and he's Machzir Ksarim Li Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu gives us back all our madregas on Shabbos. So it's mamish that way. That Shabbos, with everything that it gives Am Yisrael, it's also Moshe Rabbeinu on that day is poyel and puts his koch in Am Yisrael. All the madregas that he shema for us, he gives us back on Shabbos, right? And that's why Pashas Zachor goes together with Shabbos, right? And the Shabbos before Purim, that's the koch of Moshe Rabbeinu that we need for the Milchemes Hamot. That's the Moshe Min HaTorah Minayin that we need. That's the Yedei Moshe. To remember, reality, what it really is, and remember reality for what it really is. It's easy to see by contrast how Amalek is not reality. So on the day of becoming Zechiras Amalek, to see him for what he is, has to be on Shabbos, where you have the contrast, and that's the koach of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Shabbos supplements and gives us the koach of Moshe Rabbeinu. What he gave us in that door with the hands up is what Shabbos gives us. And just to tie it in, there's a Shnas Ibur. In a Shnas Ibur, right, Vayikra is Pashas Zachor. Vayikra el Moshe, Vayidarshem. So what does Rashi say? Loshen Chiba, Loshen Rachel Shas Mishtamshim Bo. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he called up to Moshe out of love, because Moshe Rabbeinu's tremendous chibur with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way Malachim are mechuber to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and nothing gets in between a Malach and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So also Moshe Rabbeinu, his dveikus in HaKadosh Baruch Hu is strong and absolute. And Rashi goes on to say, as opposed to whom? The Nevi'ei Umas Sa'olam, that it's not Vayikra, it's Vayokar, Hashem Lebilam, right? Vayokar Elokim Lebilam, Loshen Keri, Loshen Tuma. What does it say? Ba'amalek Asher Karcha Ba'derech, Loshen Keri, Loshen Tuma. The Vayikra El Moshe, right, is in contrast to the Asher Karcha Ba'derech, the Loshen Keri, Loshen Tuma, right? The intimacy that Moshe Rabbeinu has with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Tokef HaChibur, and he gives that to Am Yisrael. He gives that koach to Am Yisrael, which Vayikra represents, Vayikra being in contra to the Loshen Keres Tumah, which is Merumaz in Asher Karcha B'derech.